Hello, welcome to the next session. Now, last time I was talking about the disruptive innovations. So, let us try to learn something called as innovative or integrating innovations into our data science project. So, innovations require experimentation. So, whenever we want to do a innovative idea or whenever a innovative project has to be implemented, it requires a lot of experiment to be done. And new approaches fall often, but failure does not signify the end of the business line. So, a project in data science is going to fail very often, unlike our software engineering project, which is more or less rigid one. Here, it keeps on changing the data nature of the data set, so the failures are inherent. So, failure just means that you have to distill the experience, learn from your mistake, and try to find out the solution as fast as we can. So, this is what we understand from the innovation. Okay. So, we have a term called as a innovation, and R&D department have a very hard life in our data science department because they have to be more and more innovative. So, purpose of the R&D department goal is to have a compatible values with the company they work for and to ease the integration of a disruptive innovation. So, last time I explained you about the disruptive technology, disruptive innovation. So, to generate a new market for a larger company, you may try to introduce another a entity called as isolated entity in the company. So, what you require basically in our data science project is, can you generate a new department which is isolated from the other department, and it merely depends upon the failure, and try to learn from the failure within the company or the project and try to find out the solutions. So, this is what we call a term called as isolated business entity, and there are often different ways to do this. Number one, acquisition. Number two, separate entity, and number three, separate department. Now, let us look at each of them. So, what is acquisition? Acquisition is by you must have heard a big fish eating a smaller fish, a big company taking over a smaller company. The good example was Sun Microsystem taken over by the Oracle Corporation. So, acquisition, that is by companies that have already managed to cross the chasm. The main challenge of this approach is to integrate the acquired company, and both technological organization structure need to be done carefully so that it does not badly influence the newly acquired company. So, you can see that when the merger happened of Sun Microsystem with the Oracle, a lot of changes were to be made in the organizational structure. The people who were working with the Sun Microsystem, they have to adopt the new culture of the Oracle. So, acquisition is a very powerful change, and here the data science project may get affected too. The second most important point is separate entity. So, can I create a separate branch in the company that will receive financial from the head company? It's possible, and some of the companies they do it, and they can have a complete control over it, and you can create a separate department or a separate entity for a data science department. Okay, so this is how we work. And thinking about data science project from the perspective of innovation is helpful in many ways. Machine learning and deep learning can create a sustaining and disruptive innovation. Sustaining means I am able to sustain in the market. Disruptive means I am able to generate a new market. So, as we know, innovation management will go a broader context when you let the main strategy succeed in the market. Organizations that do not integrate innovation will be outrun by their competitors. So, it is a mutual competition of the product, and if you are not innovative, definitely some of your competitor will overrun you or overturn you. So, it is easy to blame the technology for not being matured enough. So, when a failure happens, we always blame something else. So, that is what we say, that it is easy to blame technology for not being matured enough, or expert for not being as good as the competitor rock stars. While doing this, many companies forget to consider the validity of their strategy for forming a new market around the new technology, and this is one of the cause of the failure in the DS project. So, DS solutions need a stable organization foundation and a plan of action for a income generation, okay, and innovative management to take care of the competitions too. So, this is how we do it. and thinking about the DL project from the perspective of innovation, it will help you, and making innovations is a dealing problem. Now let us see a three balancing between sales, marketing team, leadership and technology. So you can see that to have a balance in the sales, I want to increase the sale of my department. I want to generate a new market for my department, and I have to have a good team leadership, and I have to have a good technological support too. So sometimes we require a thrive between all these three or four blends together. So what we say that to thrive in data science management, you need to find a balance between different specialties. So I may be very good in sales, may be very good in marketing, team leadership and technology, but I have to have a balance between these disparate technologies or these disparate specialties. Data science manager switches between the task of sales, marketing, organization every day. So there is no fixed department in my fixed role, especially in the data science. Okay, so I keep on changing, and I may spend around 2 to 3 hours in one department or doing a coding work. I may spend around 2 or 3 hours for a generation of a new market and things like that, or I can attain a read documentation, or I can create a ticket for the people who are buying my product, or I can generate a technical discussion forum. So this is how a balance has to be done. So if you group them together, let us group them together. What is the technical leadership I require? Everything related with the DS programming and development process organization goes under the heading of technical leadership, like developing complex part of our solution, code review, work planning, ticket management and task definition, technology stack, tooling employees and applied R&D. So all these 5 come under the heading of technical leadership. Then whenever I have to build a team, I have to have a good team. So team head include activity associated like performance review, coaching, supporting growth and the plan for my employee. And the third is every item that helps you to sell more of your product or service under this thing. So sales, working on presentation, so I have to go to the different site, make a presentation, practical talk, creating written material, expanding our network and potential business to business market applications of my technology. This comes under the heading of sales. And marketing is different than the sales. Marketing is generating a new market for the place. So every item that is related to market pivotal goes here, like exploring the current offering of your competitor. So I have to market a new product, so I have to look at the competitive price, maybe more feature I'll offer at the lesser price and things like that. So I'm able to do a new generation of the market, discovering possible pivot for my technology and seeking a new cases and solution for refining my old technology. Okay, so can I bring a innovation in a big company? So I'll talk about two kinds of innovation. When I join a bigger organization or when I join a smaller or a startup company, what kind of innovations we are looking for? So let us see the first one, managing innovations in a big company. So when a big company is there, mostly big companies are stable. They have a well-to-do cultural environment. They have everything very structured, formulated, and everything very systematically done. So bringing a disruptive innovation to a existing process is a key process in terms of a big business organization. And to increase your chances of success, make sure that you have a following. Whenever I am working for a big company, we have to make sure something like that. Number one, organizational power. You will need direct or indirect organizational power to implement the changes. So it's not very easy. Okay, the company may not agree with your plan, or you have to have a power which is able to change the. Okay, second thing is migration plan. So whenever you want to shift from the older one to the new one, okay, you need to have a migration plan. Success criteria and integration marketing, making an abrupt change to the entire. So whenever a new product in a big company has to be introduced, it has to compete its own old new product. So a success criteria and integration strategy you have to have. Some companies give a policy called as buyback. Next point is open processes and clear explanation. So everybody that is affected by the migration will need a crystal clear understanding of what is happening and how it is being affecting the workflow. For example, Windows 7 was abandoned Windows XP was abandoned by Windows 10, and now Windows 10 is slowly and slowly getting updated with the Windows 11. So you have to have a clear expression what is affected by the migration. So you are going from a Windows version of 7 XP to Windows 10 version, Windows 11 version, and things like that. So slowly and slowly migration is affecting the new market. Fifth point is involvement integrations. You will need help in describing as is process and help with the migration plan. So whenever you want to have a migration, you will have to withstand the older version and the newer version also for some of the time, so that people are comfortable in the migration. And making up a innovation in the startup company. So the second point I am going to talk is about the startup company. So as we know, startup companies are smaller, roles are not well defined, and everybody can do a different kind of role. Okay, so startup company, okay, innovations feel more natural and easier to implement than a larger company, because you have a company size smaller, everybody has a innovative idea, and sometimes the people can try to have a different innovative ideas to be fulfilled. However, there is a significant difference between a startup and established company. Number one, startup cannot afford to make a lot of mistakes, because it will be a jolt to the company. Whereas if you have a big company, they can absorb the jolt. Stable income stream allows large companies to test many items simultaneously, whereas startup are often limited to evolving one simultaneous, okay, what we call as a direction. So the concept of chasm is a very important for a startup. That means your older one and the newer one and change over. So main goal of the startup is to find a new market where it can grow upon itself and provide a value that does not exist. Matching your idea with the technology will give you a more demand for the market. Okay, so the whole idea of the startup company is basically you have to have a good feedback from the customer. If the customer is happy, you go on changing, and one of the product is a NLP based or chart based product and things like that, or you can have an idea of the computer vision system on NLP and reinforcement learning. All these things are your startup companies have implemented the technology for the innovation. Okay, then can I find out the project ideas? Finding out the project ideas, very difficult. How do I find the project ideas? Very simple. Before implementing your first prototype, you need to find out the promising ideas. So ideas come in the mind, they have to be translated into the software, and the software has to work. So to create ideas, you can work from one of the following two standpoint of view. Number one, business. Number two is your data. So finding idea in the business. Number one, if you are working with a already established business company, the first and most obvious way is to find the ideas, to ask the management about their need, and merging data science expertise with the deep domain knowledge will allow you to find a matching between the request and what you require as a capability. So you can see that this problem has to work already on the working solution. So finding a idea in the business process, already the business process are established one, and you have to find out a matching idea between the system. Okay, so generate data. This is a precious step of a process, should constantly generate a digital data that can be used by the model, and if business is critical or not, is improvement should provide a direct business value to your customer. Increasing the value is a very strong selling point. So how do you increase the value of your product? Very good selling point is this. And the last is has potential application of a data science. You can use the data to build a algorithm to provide a insight in the automated decision making process. So with this course of action, you can find out the ideas. Okay. Now second point is finding ideas about the data. So another way to create a project ideas to look directly into the data. Firstly, you should create a data source map of the company and you are working with, and sometimes this information will be readily available to you for the use. However, if it is not, then your team should do some research and cover the organizational structure of the data. Then sort all the data according to your choice, and finally look at deeper into the data sources and try to build a model. So this way finding data is risky, time consuming, and very creative too. the chances of your success are lower than the previous approach. Okay, but if you are able to find a working idea that work from bottom up to the data, you are more likely to stumble upon a unique data science project use case that gives you a competitive advantage and provide a business value. So this is where the underlying principle of working with the data. So once in a while some people come up with a truly unique ideas, and there may not be any data or not a business, just as a captive or a captivating idea. Transformating idea that just disrupt the technology industry often fuse several disciplines that close together with the relationship. Now look at here. I have a data of medicine. I can combine with computer vision and machine learning, and can I create a automated disease risk analysis for the patient. So you can see here I have a data of medical background. I have a computer vision system to identify the problem in the images, bacterial infection and all those things, and I use a machine learning algorithm. What is the outcome? Outcome is automated disease risk analysis for the patient. So this will be a very fruitful idea for the medical electronic or medical professional people. Second idea could be a automobile industry along with the camera, computer vision. So I can have a self driving car, which is very well known to all of us. Third, call center plus deep neural network, fully automated dialogue system with the speech recognition and generation. So you press 1, press 2, press 3, like that. All the call centers are being automated now. Okay, so this is how we do it. And we look for, if you think about the data, then we can raise several strategies: best feature, core feature, basic feature and linking of the feature. So we collect the data and classify the data into more features. So you can find out from the competitor which is the best feature, which is the core feature, which is the best feature which can be affected by, and which is the feature which is lagging to. Okay, so start fleshing out you are describing the product feature and create a profile for your product and think of the feature as a distinguishing from the other. So this is how you can win the competitor. And think about the product business model, how would you relate it to another product in the market. So if you say, if you cannot find a competitor on the market, you can see that your product could easily throw competitor out of the market. This is the underlying principle of a disruptive technology. Then you have a chance of creating a disruptive technology. Okay, and remember that pushing disruptive innovation in the market require careful planning, focus and strategy for a for crossing a chasm. So this way your disruptive innovation technology can help you to win the race from the competitor. So with this I end here. Thank you so much.